It made me feel guilty because if I was earning more, maybe others in my group wouldn't be earning as much. Kind of like a negative comparison, if you will. This guilt had me playing small and smothering my earning potential with guilt. It had me earning less when I was ready and able to be earning more. All because of the narratives, the guilt, and the stories in my own head about something that wasn't my business or honestly any of my responsibilities. And I do not want the same thing to happen to you. Okay? Okay. Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. This episode of The PA is In is brought to you by Medthusiast. They are my go-to source for hilarious, adorable medical apparel. Their items are incredible design-wise and with a level of comfort that is beyond compare. Whether you are in the market for a gift for your friends in medicine or looking for an excuse to treat yourself, there is something for everyone in any specialty or medical profession. For the latest designs from PA owner, creative genius, mom, and PICU PA Andrea, head to medthusiast.com. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of The PA is In. I deeply believe that actions are some of the most important things we can do in our lives and our careers. I hear PAs go back and forth about taking action so much that they feel stuck and they make no decision and no moves at all. Analysis paralysis, procrastination, like procrastination, but when you do all the things to get ready to take action, but never take the darn action, and excessive planning just delay the action that we are preparing for and hoping to take. When we take action, we might make mistakes. We could fail. We could make a misstep and end up having to make another move or another change. Sometimes these are the steps that we learn the most from. To prove that we can learn from and even survive these mistakes, I'm going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I've made when negotiating during my career as a PA. These things, these specific mistakes, don't make me a failure. They make me a human. These mistakes have helped to shape the way that I coach clients and will inform my next negotiation approach. Mistakes are a part of moves. They are a part of life. Listen, in order to be a coach and a negotiation expert who helps PAs to earn more money, I have had to have been in the trenches. I have been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. Wait. You might be thinking, isn't this the same woman who coaches PAs through negotiation and decision consults? Doesn't Tracy teach a course on helping PAs to make more money? Yep, that's me. But here's the thing. I'm not here to show you the highlight reel of negotiations and pretend like I get it 100% exactly right each and every time. I do not have it all together. I do not have the answer to every specific scenario, and I haven't done it perfectly every single time in the past. I'd rather be an open book, pull back the curtain and tell you that even though I have all the strategies and tips for you, I'm out here bumping along, also using trial and error too. We interrupt this broadcast with a very important announcement. You are not making enough money. Your practice and your physician do not understand the value you are adding to their patients, and therefore, you aren't earning what you're worth. If in the past your requests for a raise have been met with one single word, no. If you're working more hours than ever and seeing more patients, but you're not making any more money and you're feeling pissed about it. If you feel like you've hit the ceiling of your income band, this guide is for you.
I've compiled the 5 most costly and most common mistakes that PAs make when asking for a raise, and I've told you how to avoid them and what to do instead. Download your free guide at tracybingaman.com/mistakes.
I hope this might help you to learn from my experience. Here are 10 mistakes that I've made in the past negotiating as a part of my career as a PA. Number 1, not asking enough clarifying questions. Whether it was because I didn't want to seem like a troublemaker from the get-go or due to the fact that I wanted to seem more experienced from my very first job on, I didn't ask enough questions. I would look at the contract agreement or the offer and ask the question inside of my mind, but not enough to dare to actually reach out and clarify the questions. Questions like, is this all paid time off in one bucket, or are there different specific days for sick or vacation or CME time? Questions like, does the 401k or 403b match start immediately? When is the match money vested? When is it mine? When can I take it with me? Honestly, not asking these questions might have actually made me seem less knowledgeable and interested in these positions. The exact opposite of what I was trying to accomplish. Going with the flow, not asking these questions might make you less memorable and seem less interested to your potential employer. You want that organization to choose you because of your level of interest, your attention to detail, and your desire to clarify these things. I wish I had asked questions about how my employer dealt with and felt about things like short term cancellation of a schedule for illness or the loss of a family member. I think if I could do anything, I would go back and ask more questions of all of my jobs. That's not to say that I wouldn't have taken the job. I would have just had a better understanding of what I was getting myself into by taking that position. Number 2, underestimating my own value. I had no idea how much actual objective value that I would add to the practices and organizations when I started seeing patients, first assisting in surgeries, and billing for those patient visits. Because I underestimated my own value, I accepted the first offer at my first position without asking for any more money. Due to the fact that I didn't realize how much I'd be billing in visits and first assist fees, I anchored low when an employer asked me how much I wanted to be making. I got in the habit of, probably because I was so darn excited to work, nodding along, accepting what was offered to me without pushing for more. Let me be the one to remind you that you will make way more than your salary and compensation package in billing for your practice. In fact, if you want to avoid this, anchoring low, and other mistakes that PAs make when asking for a raise, I actually put together a guide based on my conversations with PAs as a part of negotiating. It's called the 5 most common mistakes PAs make when asking for a raise. If you go to tracybingaman.com/mistakes or click the link in the show note, you can download your free copy. All right, on to number 3, feeling guilty about my employer's bottom line. This one is so important and also kind of hard to summarize and explain in this quick little section of this one specific episode. But I remember feeling badly about how much I was earning. like like my salary might single-handedly weigh down the budget line item for providers at an employer. It kept me from asking for more money, insisting that I earn more when I did more work because I was too worried about the department's bottom line. These concerns about a budget that I wasn't personally responsible for kept me from being my own best advocate. It made me feel guilty because if I was earning more, maybe others in my group wouldn't be earning as much. Kind of like a negative comparison, if you will. This guilt had me playing small and smothering my earning potential with guilt. It had me earning less when I was ready and able to be earning more. All because of the narratives, the guilt, and the stories in my own head about something that wasn't my business or honestly any of my responsibilities. And I do not want the same thing to happen to you. Okay? Okay. Number 4, not asking for advice. And this one is tricky because it's salary and contract that we're discussing here. I'm embarrassed to admit that I didn't have an employment lawyer review many of my contracts that I was offered. They were from big organizations, which led me to trust them and their validity and think that the things that they put in my employment agreement weren't negotiable. everything is negotiable. And I do mean everything. Just because it's written down doesn't mean that it's set in stone. And it also doesn't mean that you have to agree to it at all or the way that it's written. Each time that I've invested in outside help from a coach, advice from a mentor, engaged a good local employment lawyer to review my contract agreement, I have been more likely to ask questions and push harder and get a better deal. I would be happy to walk through your next negotiation alongside you. So I do negotiation consults, decision consults. I'll drop the link for negotiation consults in the show notes if you think this is a mistake that you really want to avoid. Number 5, waiting too long. There have been several times in my career that I have waited too long to leave a job. When you wait too long to leave, then you're in a rush to leave. When you're in a rush to leave, you're in a hurry to find a new position. This hurrying doesn't breed strategic and calm decision making. It puts pressure on you to find a new job and reach an agreement. When you feel so desperate to get the heck out of a toxic situation or a position that has burned you out, you can't imagine doing it for another 30 or 60 or even 90 days. You are less likely to land in a situation that you'll thrive in next time. Making decisions in a rush isn't great. As they say, stressed work isn't our best work, and finding work while you're stressed is definitely no different. Start looking sooner. Be on the lookout for both opportunities, but also be on the lookout for early signs that you're unhappy, that you're restless. And this will give you more time and the luxury of being more deliberate in your job change decisions and negotiations going forward. Number 6, not having good data. I am pretty embarrassed to admit that now, as the data-loving queen who wants all people to understand where they fall relative to the mean and median salaries for their specialty and area of country and area of medicine, I was grossly unprepared from a data standpoint during many of my prior salary negotiations. Whether it's from other PAs in your area, the AAPA salary report, extrapolation on known numbers, or investing in something like the MGMA data report, having a base of numbers to negotiate from is super important. Number 7, sharing my desires all at once. One time I sat down to negotiate with one of my physicians and I just handed over what I wanted. Essentially, I filled out an equivalent to the PA Pay 1 sheet. And then instead of reserving it and using it to make moves and strategies and having it be part of this discussion, I just handed it over. The PA Pay 1 sheet is this downloadable sheet where you lay out your desires, questions, strategies for your negotiation. It is, trust me, handing over the sheet not as effective as having the actual conversation. And yes, I know the conversations are nerve-wracking, but they do need to happen, which leads me to mistake number 8. Number 8, avoiding the conversations altogether. When you avoid something for long enough, it gives it more power. It builds it into the boogeyman. Avoiding the conversations that lead to negotiations is an understandable impulse. However, it is completely ineffective. Avoiding things makes them harder and harder to do, and it gets harder to get your nerve up to have the conversation. It makes it harder to walk into that room with confidence. There have been times in the past where there is something that I wanted so badly, but I dreaded the conversation that sometimes I'm so embarrassed to admit this, I never executed it at all. That's like planning procrastination for you. I was making a plan, a perfect plan to bring to the table. Turns out it doesn't matter if the plan is perfect if you never present it to anyone. Avoid this perfection mindset and do it messy and afraid, but do it nonetheless. Number 9, not accepting feedback graciously. So one time I was preparing to leave one of my general surgery positions. I put together this business case to present to a local private general surgery group. It was 2 partners in the group. It was something that I poured over, prepping the numbers in the document with the goal of showing these general surgeons what a great investment and addition to their practice an experienced and ambitious PA like myself would be. I asked Dan to look over this document, this baby that I had created, and he rudely came back with notes upon notes, questions and clarifications and advice on how to word things, and I was immediately on the defensive. How dare he give me constructive criticism when what I asked for had been praise and encouragement? But not accepting feedback graciously has been really an Achilles heel of mine for a long time. Number 10, not investing the time to learn how to negotiate. Up until this year, when I realized how much PAs had to learn about negotiating, I hadn't invested in honing these skills at all. When you think about it, all conversations that we're having are a negotiation. Whether you're trying to get a toddler into bed or a patient on board with a plan and workup and treatment for a specific disease, those are negotiations too. Understanding how to negotiate was a big hole in my experience until recently. Investing in learning these skills has served me well, and my hope is to continue to relay those skills to you, my friend. Until next time, when I'm sure I will have more mistakes that I have made and information to relay about those mistakes, this PA is out. Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.